And we are back.
We are back, bumblebees.
We have a special guest with us today for the first time ever on a live stream.
Yes.
So no pressure.
No, none. I'm not feeling pressure at all.
That's good. So we have Meg Talk, which was Recover Your Power. And for those of you who are familiar with our Patreon content or our Patreon subscribers, you've seen all 3 of her episodes at this point, I'm sure. Will you tell them who you are and a little bit about yourself as we get into this?
Sure. My name is Meg. My TikTok channel was Recover Your Power. I'm doing a rebrand, so it's Meg Talk now because I think I'm 51 years old, and I think women over 40 have a lot of things going on to talk about, and I didn't want to just focus on one little thing, but definitely women over 40, and just getting them to live their best life and helping them, live the best life they can, and how you start over when you have to, when different things happen and you have to start over. So that's what I'm doing here, and thank you guys so much for having me.
Thank you for driving down.
No problem.
Making adjustments.
Thank you.
Making adjustments. May have to get up and do another one. I think that you're still just a little bit too overexposed for me.
Brooke said...
I'm a little shiny. Yeah.
Brooke said what?
She said, I'm breaking the law for this. I'm going to need you to elaborate on that.
Probably watching while driving. Let's be safe, guys. Let's be safe. So we had a couple people saying hello to you and that they absolutely loved your garden episode.
Oh, thank you so much. It was the most interesting, fun talk in the world, and I think we could have gone on for days.
Oh yeah,
but it was fantastic. It was fantastic.
I'm glad you
enjoyed
enjoyed
it. The compliment. I appreciate it.
Okay, I'm gonna move the microphone just a little bit closer. Sorry, guys. Normally I do this way ahead of time,
but I don't show up way ahead of time, so I barely got here.
It's funny. I wasn't gonna throw you under the bus.
No, I will throw myself under the bus. I am chronic late person.
Okay. So we obviously normally we do like bullshit conversations. We'll do some reaction videos sometimes. Sometimes we just do email reads. Sometimes we just do Q&As. So I think tonight, because we actually have a guest, we should start with Q&As and see how that goes. And in the event that we get into like dead zone, we can move over to an email.
Okay.
So for those of you who are familiar with Meg, your episodes were about overcoming a narcissistic relationship, right?
Correct. Yep.
So for any of you who think that you've actually been with a narcissist, if you have questions for Meg, now would be a great time to send those through because we have somebody here that is a survivor of that actually helps coach women out of those situations. Dirt Bike Buddy sent a $2 super chat that said, thank y'all. So Peaches looks so pale sandwiched in between them.
Yeah.
It's funny. I could move it around. I could put you on the end.
No, I feel very like Victorian right now.
Yeah?
This is nice for me, yeah.
That's funny. The vanilla Oreo situation. Shiloh wants to know how you spot a narcissist.
You can't. I wish I had a better answer. But it's hard to spot a narcissist from the beginning. The things that I would look for is, now it depends. Are you talking about in a relationship and dating and things like that? If you're talking about that, things will seem overly perfect. There won't be any kind of, he's adjusting the camera again.
You're good.
There won't be any true noticeable warning signs, except that, when you meet somebody and you start to date, there are going to be times where you kind of disagree. You're not going to agree on everything. That usually doesn't happen with a narcissist in the dating scenario, if that's what you're talking about. It will be perfect. They will be perfect for you, and you will be perfect for them, and everything will go great. Now, this kind of stinks because that's kind of how you want a relationship to be. But there's always going to be those little things that aren't quite right or that you have to adjust. It's just way too perfect. That would be my first sign is
very amicable, not wanting to disagree.
Beyond amicable. They're
Yeah.
like, you're perfect. You're absolutely perfect for me. And they will ask a lot of questions to see what perfect for you looks like. And then they will be that or pretend to be that for as long as they can.
Okay.
Yeah.
Somebody asked, I'm going to get really good at pushing buttons tonight. I can feel it.
Oh, I believe that.
Somebody asked, would a
Ooh.
real narcissist actually call themselves a narcissist?
No, they're unaware. They're not aware of, they're not self-aware, I should say. So no, they won't call themselves a narcissist. A lot of people get out of a narcissistic relationship and they're like, oh, I've become a narcissist. You haven't become a narcissist. You've been restricted from being yourself for so long and unable to talk about yourself or be about yourself that you suddenly get like me, and that's not being a narcissist. A narcissist will deny it and call you one all day.
Okay. Chris is going to be pushing the buttons on a record tonight. I actually want to make one more adjustment. I'm going to do it live while we're on stream. So I can't focus on what's happening right now, but I feel like you're just a little bit too tall over here.
I'm tall. I'm never tall.
I know. Which is,
Stand me next to Peaches and I won't look tall at all.
I'm trying my fucking hardest over here to make sure that everything does what it's supposed to do.
I take 100% responsibility for not coming early enough to do it.
That's funny. Somebody said, I was always told that if you're worried about being a narcissist, you definitely are not a narcissist.
That is true.
Okay. And then how do you prevent narcissistic behavior in yourself after being raised by one? Oh, that's a good question.
Really good question. So the biggest missing part of a narcissistic personality is empathy. I'm not sure how to tell you to prevent it in yourself. I can tell you how to prevent it in your children when they are around a narcissist or their other parent is a narcissist. And that is you teach your children empathy, gratitude, things that a narcissist does not and cannot ever teach. I think if you find yourself being overly narcissistic, maybe you need to go give back, volunteer somewhere. What does it do if I look at you, Peaches?
You can look wherever you want.
Yeah.
I can't. Okay, because I feel like I'm talking to I want to talk to the people, but you make eye contact and then I want to.
I cannot look if that makes you feel more comfortable.
Because we're currently not on camera, we get to watch you talk.
Yeah.
Because otherwise we look at the screen.
Okay.
But when we're all three on screen and we're all looking either at the TV or looking at each other, it's just fucking weird.
Okay.
So
Okay, I'm sorry. I've never done this. I'm always on my own live. So,
this is funny.
but honestly, if you're worried about it, go give back. Go get into a place where volunteer at a food pantry. Work with kids. Work with somebody who needs you and give back, because you might feel very narcissistic and selfish with your time and selfish with all that, and you kind of need that recovery time. But once it starts getting like, I have no room for anybody, I don't care about what anybody says, thinks, or does, you might want to rein it in a little bit.
Do you think that a narcissist can falsify empathy?
Yes. Oh, all day. Yeah. They mirror behaviors.
Okay.
So they can see empathy in other people and mirror it. They don't feel it. They don't feel it. And in their actions long term, they will show that. It'll show up that they don't really care who they're hurting along the way. It is really all about them.
Okay. We got a super chat from Shiloh that said, what if you're with someone that spends their entire... I'm sorry, let me go back to us so that there's three of us, because I'm the director. I'm supposed to be pushing buttons, producing the show because AJ's not in Florida. Fucker. What if you're with someone that spends the entire relationship telling you what you're doing wrong, yet stays with you through it all? That doesn't sound like somebody that's a narcissist necessarily. That's just a manipulative or a controlling person.
Yeah, it does sound very manipulative.
You want to read that one more time, babe, just in case?
What if you're with someone that spends the entire relationship telling you what you're doing wrong, yet stays with you through it all?
That's a lot of projecting. That's a whole lot of projecting on you, and them staying with you through it all isn't the point. Why are you staying?
Right.
Ooh, they're not ready for that.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate on that?
They better be ready for that, because that's the truth of it. Is you're going to have to start looking at yourself and saying, if somebody's telling me that I do everything wrong, why am I still here? And because they'll stay with you because you allow the behavior to happen. You allow them to tell you that you're doing everything wrong while you strive to do everything right. And no matter how right you get it wrong. So that's when you have to start doing some self-reflection and, why am I still here?
That's something that we talk about on the podcast quite a bit, because you get people who will send in emails and they are clearly in a unloving situation where they are just being used as somebody to support them, right? Like the man or the woman is the provider, and the person that's living there is just taking full advantage, telling the person what they want to hear, abusing the situation, and then they're like, well, what do I do? Well, you're the one that's fucking providing the life that you have. Why are you allowing this behavior to continue? Yeah.
Yeah.
Good people want to fix broken people.
Can you elaborate on that? Because that's a whole different discussion.
So people who have experienced trauma within their own life and know what it feels like to be kicked when you're down and feel like you have nobody, they want to be that person for somebody else. Like, they have so much love in them, it's overwhelming. So they will take in somebody who is broken. People tend to be more manipulative and take advantage of people like that.
Okay.
And then there is a guilt there of, well, I'm trying my best and I want to do my best, and I know that they're hard on times and they're not always like this and they're good people, they're just going through it. I lost my train of thought. Because now I'm thinking on that plays on the heartstrings.
Right.
They meaning like the good-hearted people who want to help people and don't want people to go through the same pain that they went through, sympathize so hard with the hurt that they will almost excuse anything because there is an excuse for everything. Does any of that make sense?
Yeah, it sounds like there's a whole lack of self-worth there, though.
Right.
You know what I mean? Somebody's getting so much of a savior complex that they just want to play the superhero and the savior and be the good person in that. But, I mean, I think that people that's a people pleaser thing. You know what I mean? Like, I just want to do my best to try to help everyone. And I think those are the people that normally get burned the most. There was a good question that came through that said, this is more of a statement, but I feel like males get labeled narcissistic more than females when they perhaps just conceal it better. Can you speak on that one, Meg?
Yeah. I think that because men are by nature the caretakers and the givers, women can be very narcissistic and very about themselves. And they get with men who give. Now, it goes both ways, honestly. When it comes to labeling, men, when they get out of a relationship are kind of quiet, right? They just kind of go about their way. They do their thing. They recover from it. Women are talking to everyone. He's a narcissist. He's a narcissist. He's a narcissist. Talk to a man who has been with a female narcissist, and I can promise you he is hurt. They are way worse. A female narcissist will try to wreck your life in more ways than just mentally. They're.
Oh, I've heard of women getting men fired.
Oh, they'll wreck your job.
Yeah.
This is a perfect example. Is they will mess with your relationship with your kids. If you look at a woman who will take their children from their father, you are looking at a very narcissistic person because they're mad that your relationship didn't work out. They don't think about the kids or the impact on them. Their goal is to literally hurt you by taking your kids. And I think that may not be a pure narcissist, but it's an extremely, if you put that on a scale times 100, be with the narcissist and you'll see. And I just don't think that men are real vocal about breakups. Before I got on TikTok and started doing lives with men and women in the same, in the same area, I had no idea the kind of feelings that men had after a breakup because they're just pretty quiet about it. So yeah, they get the label more.
I think it's important for us to recognize that just because somebody's labeled a narcissist doesn't mean that they actually have NPD.
Right.
Right. And there's a very different outcome from somebody who actually gets diagnosed by a psychiatrist or a therapist as a narcissistic personality disorder. We've done studies on this and know that 1 in 200 men get diagnosed with it, which seems really fucking high to me because not that many men are going to therapy because it's shunned.
Right.
So if that's the case, I'm sure that there are men who are narcissistic that are not labeled because they don't go to therapy. But we also know, because of the conversation that we've had with Meg in the past, that narcissistic people tend to schmooze over the therapist and end up taking advantage of that situation. Are you able to talk on that at all?
Oh, yeah. Well, a narcissist, excuse me, because they're not self-aware and they're trying to prove so hard that that's not them, or there's nothing wrong with them. It's you. It's definitely you. So for one, they're not self-aware enough to go to a therapist and get therapy because they don't think anything's wrong. They don't see anything wrong with them. However, when they do go, they will start blame shifting right there in that this is what she does. This is what he does. This is what they do. You know, they make me feel this and they make me feel that. They will play the victim. They will say they're so good at being someone they're not that they'll do that with a therapist. How can you really diagnose somebody who's not being real? You know, and a lot of times I heard somebody the other day said that they went under the presumption with their husband that they were going to therapy for her. And the therapist watched him, without him knowing it, diagnosed him.
As a narcissist?
Yes, because he didn't know it was about him. She just watched his behaviors.
Crazy.
It was a great trick. I thought that was such a great trick.
Oh, yeah.
How would that work, though?
I don't know.
Right? Like, because in order for them to, I mean, he is there. He's paying for the session. He is technically a patient now. Would that be a diagnosis that, like, could actually be, like, stuck to that man at that point?
I don't know what they would do with the diagnosis, honestly, because I'm not a therapist.
Right.
But they could probably, I think what they did was, this was her therapist, or they went in under the pretense of marriage therapy, or I need you in this session, to work on us. And it was no, he's just selfish, or no, that man is a narcissist. And I think it was more for her peace of mind than a diagnosis for him.
Yeah, I think that would have been like an off the books after the session's over.
Yes. It was their next session that the therapist actually told him,
Yeah.
Or told her that yes.
Calista said that narcissists are hard to actually diagnose because they try to trick the therapist. Yeah, so it's exactly what we're just going into. Real quick before we move on to any other questions or anything, I want to let you guys know that we are running a promotion tonight. Tonight's the last night of it, where if you leave a $25 super chat, or you send a combined total of $25 in super chats, we will give you access to our Discord channel for the entire month of February, which will allow you to watch the interviews that we did with Meg on the Garden, or that Peaches did with Meg on the Garden. And it'll allow you to watch backlog content. It'll also allow you to take part in our live streams that we do for Patreon only, which does have Zoom calls. And will allow you to get into the Discord to just kind of look around and see how we act in there and like the community that we've built. So $25 combined super chats, and then you'll just have to send an email proving that you sent the super chats, and we will give you access to the Discord for the month of February. So somebody said, my understanding is that that's how many narcissists end up diagnosed. Many times they are in family therapy, although I could be wrong on that.
That's probably true. It's probably when they let their guard down. And I'm telling you, their egos are ridiculous. So they actually, they're not as smart as they think, because they're not hard to trick. They're seriously not hard to trick. Their egos are so big that it's like, nobody's going to see through this. This isn't going to happen to me. And so, yeah, they get, a lot of times in family therapy or couples therapy, the other person, I don't want to say the wife, but the other person will be pulled aside in a separate thing and be told that this person has a personality disorder. Yeah.
It's wild to think about. It is really, really wild to think about.
It's maddening.
Yeah.
It's maddening. How I tell when people come to me is the way they've reacted. You know, that the fallout from that relationship is so obvious. It's so damaging, you know, in a very specific way, you know. So that's how I kind of say you were probably with one or one very high on the scale.
Now you were Recover Your Power on TikTok, and you were rebranding yourself to Meg Talks. Yeah. So are you actually on Instagram?
I am, and I need to check if I think I changed Instagram to Meg Talk as well.
Is it Meg Talk _IG?
Yes.
Okay,
because
good.
Meg
Okay.
Talk was taken.
Okay, good. Because I've been tagging that with the content that we've been posting of you, and I don't want to be tagging the wrong account.
No, I appreciate that.
But can you just real quick explain what it is that you did with Recover Your Power? Even though you're rebranding, are you keeping that same theme? Because you had a whole lot to say last time, and a lot of it was really. I like the way that you're formatting your help, your coaching.
Thank you so much. The main reason on TikTok that I changed it, there was a couple of reasons. One, everybody kept calling me Recover, and I'm like, stop calling me that. Or they would think that I was in like addiction recovery. I'm not. So I just thought, you know, a lot of what I do and the gift that I think I love to share is my ability to talk and to listen and to have a conversation. So what Recover Your Power is it's 5 letters. It means, each letter means something different. What is that, an anagram? Is that what it's called?
Yes.
Okay.
I think so.
I don't know. I always mess up when I try to do that. But like P is, I will take you through 5 steps, and the P is like for finding your passion, making peace with your past. Very, very, very important. Probably the first step. Finding your purpose, being in the present. O is like, what is your outlook? What do you want your outcome to be? What do you see your outcome to be now? W is words. So it's the words that people have said to you in the past that you start believing, the negative words that run in your head, how you use your words with other people, and kind of self-correcting that. If you hear yourself saying negative things, you train yourself to correct the words that you're hearing, the words that you use, and the words that you believe about yourself. The E is energy. Oh my gosh. Being around great energy, being around people with awesome energy is key. It's so key to to living your best life. And the energy you put out there comes back to you. The R is like, and there are so many of them because I tailor each one to the person I'm talking to. So the R is like staying in reality. Responding instead of reacting is a huge one, because especially in an abusive situation, those people want you to react. And it is important to slow down and respond because you're giving them exactly what they want. And let me think if there's another R. Ruminating is something that when you are constantly living what I call in the victim mentality because of your past, you have to get out of that. You know, you really have to stop ruminating. And people in abusive situations will ruminate only on the good stuff, and they forget the reality of what the relationship really looked like.
It's wild to think about because of the amount of emails that we get where people are so focused on the negative of everything that's in their life that they fail to actually see the bigger picture of things.
Absolutely.
So, you guys want to promote YouTube real quick while you're on your lives so people can know where to go to actually watch the whole thing?
Yeah, so we are currently live on YouTube, the number To Be Better on YouTube. That is where we are interacting with the conversation. This is more of just a window for you guys to be a part of it and listen in.
Yep. And I'm on my live as well on TikTok. So go to the number 2, Be Better podcast on YouTube.
Yep.
Is podcast after it, or is it just
it'll
To Be
pull
Better?
it up. If you type in To Be Better podcast, it'll pull up. But it is just To Be Better. YouTube.com/the @ To Be Better will take you to the actual page.
Perfect. And go see us there, because then you can see Chris and Peaches, and they're awesome. And I'm not just talking to myself.
And since I don't have a TikTok live open, I figured I would just plug the hoodies, guys. You guys have been asking when we were going to get these back in stock.
Oh.
They'll be back in stock. I got pre-orders up right now. We did 80 of them, sizes small through 4X. So if you would like to pick up a hoodie, now would be a great time to do it. The website is tobebetter.co.
Get your merch.
Yep. So do we want to do some more Q&A with the chat? Do you want to run into some emails? I think doing an email with a guest would be kind of cool because we've never done that before.
Yeah, we can do an email. I have one about ex-in-laws.
Okay, let's do that.
Okay.
Let's see if I can continue to figure this out.
Readjust myself.
This is the first time I've ever been live on YouTube.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I love the fact that they can interact live just like they can, I'm used to the TikTok lives where they can
Right.
interact. So I'm like, I need to make notes on these questions. These questions are fantastic.
Yeah.
If you guys want to guarantee to have your questions answered, send them as a super chat. We have our mods screenshotting those so that after we get done with the email, we can go ahead and run through those. If you have a question for Meg, send the super chat. You will guarantee to get it answered before we leave here tonight. And then Peaches.
One of your mods is on my live, Peaches.
Oh,
Love
dope.
that.
Dang, she bad.
Oh, yeah, I know who that is. She's very good at modding if you need her to help you.
Okay.
Or if she's willing to help. All right, so this email is titled Ex-In-Laws Overstepping. Hi, guys. My girlfriend and I have been talking about marriage, but right now we are at a standstill. Little background, she was married for 10 years and has 3 kids with her ex-husband. He had an affair with over 10 women in this time frame.
Wow.
She filed for divorce. I need to raise this up. Excuse me, guys. Is that... Okay. She filed for divorce, and her ex-in-laws, ex-sister-in-law, her husband, and ex-grandparents stepped in to help out. Okay, her husband, does that mean her husband helped?
I gotta be honest, I spaced out. I'm not gonna lie. I'm trying to. Okay, let me go back to the 3 of us.
Okay.
I'm trying to handle the camera system, like the Stream Deck.
Right.
Still monitor the chat in case like a super chat or like a really good question comes up, and pay attention.
Don't we have people for that, though?
We do, but I'm trying to produce and be on the show, and I found my limit of things I can pay attention to. 4 is too many. So I fully spaced out just now.
Okay.
Full disclosure, I fucked up.
This is why I'm afraid of podcasting.
Yeah.
The podcasting's easy. Just sitting here having a conversation, I can do that all day long. But
Right.
having a camera, 2 screens, 2 TikTok lives,
It's a
and this
lot.
Stream Deck with 15 buttons on it is a lot.
Okay.
So can we?
Do you want me to start the whole thing over?
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're honest. Thank you. My girlfriend and I have been talking about marriage, but right now we are at a standstill. Little background, she was married for 10 years and has 3 kids with her ex-husband. He had an affair with over 10 women this time frame.
Okay.
Do you remember that?
Nope, I got it now.
Okay. Because you actually said something about that. Okay.
Yeah, I said wow there. I caught that part
Right,
of it.
yeah,
I
okay.
didn't miss it. I didn't catch the very beginning of that, so I must have zoned out there too, but I definitely heard the 10 affairs.
Okay. She filed for divorce, and her ex-in-laws, ex-sister-in-law, her husband in parentheses, and ex-grandparents stepped in to help out.
Okay. That makes sense.
They would take them from school and drop them off at practice, pick them up, and bring them home on certain nights. My girlfriend needed this help as she was working 2 jobs to try and support her family. Her ex-husband stopped paying child support, so that forced her to work to feed her family.
What? Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Can't people go to jail for not paying child support?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
can we acknowledge the fact that you should still work even though you got 3 kids?
Right.
Get child support and alimony is not supposed to make it so that you don't have to ever work again.
Right.
Okay. That shit annoys me.
Her ex-husband stopped paying child support, so that forced her to work to feed her family. Yeah, no, he shouldn't be like supporting a lifestyle for you.
Not at all. He should be taking care of his kids.
Right.
He's clearly not,
Right.
but he should be.
Yeah. She is very grateful of all of the help, but now that her and I have been dating for over a year, her ex's family is not letting go. They are not letting her and I try to grow as a family.
How do they have a say in any of that?
Right, I was just wondering, like, are they
How are
in-
they stopping that?
Are they in y'all's home, making sure they're sitting between y'all on the couch? Like,
That's awkward.
It is a little awkward. But there's also a thought in that she has a support system in them.
right.
Right? And she's got a village that's helped her this entire time. So like, are they trying to be present with the children? Because that's a different conversation than, maybe they're in her ear talking about how you're a piece of shit human being and she doesn't need to be with you, right? Because those are two very different things.
Is that the end of the email?
No, it's
Oh,
not.
good. Because
Okay.
I'm like, what?
So-
I don't see the answer.
So why did your mind go to want quality time with the children?
Because he said that the in-laws, the ex-in-laws aren't letting go.
Right. Yeah. And they are not letting her and I try to grow as a family. Okay, no, now I see that.
Right.
Her ex's family is not letting go, right? Because those are their grandchildren.
Right.
And nephews and nieces.
Yeah.
Like,
That's the grandbabies. Exactly.
right.
Are they trying to like get those people out of the kids'
I have no
I need
idea.
to hear the rest of it.
Okay.
It's like Jerry Springer. ain't it?
Carry on.
About to be.
Now that V and I are together, she has been cutting back on her second job as her ex-husband is now paying child support. She's wanting to spend more time with her kids, and her ex's family is making it super hard on her. They each had their day of the week to pick up the kids, to spend time with them. Now that V doesn't need the second job, she wants to pick up her kids from school and be their mom.
Well, if it's her day, why isn't she picking the kids up?
Right. So I agree with V. If I am no longer required to work a second job, I am going to step in and do the things that I want to do as a mom.
Right. That's the way it should be.
Right. You guys can have like designated weekends or however that works out. That would be my mindset on that.
I don't think that grandparents should have a right to a child.
Oh, now we're gonna fight.
Yeah?
I'm a grandmother.
I'm a grandfather. But them babies ain't mine.
No.
If you have a great relationship with your kids and they want you to be in the life of your grandbabies, then you should absolutely be there. Yeah. But that I believe that role falls to the mother and father. You don't have a right to those babies. You need to earn that right. So you need to be a good person. If you want to be in their life, be a good person. That's where that goes. I don't think that people have a right to your kids. They're your kids.
Yeah, if I had the government coming to me and saying that, hypothetically, example, like my father is an alcoholic piece of shit, he is now, like by law, is able to have unsupervised time with your children and there's nothing you can do about it, I'd have a massive problem with that.
So as a grandmother, why do you have a problem with it? Because I'm here for the dialogue.
Yeah.
Okay. So there are things in some states called grandparents' rights. And sometimes your kid just acts like an asshole. And they use the grandkids as a weapon against you. It happens.
Right.
It happens a lot. And I think if you've been an involved parent and an involved grandparent and suddenly there is a rift or they don't like what you're doing in your life or they don't like whatever. I'm not saying addicts are dangerous people who have not parented you well. Why would you hand your kids over? I get that. But at any moment, my son can say to me, you do not have access to those kids anymore. And I would fight it all the way because I've never hurt the kids. I've never done anything bad to them. That is a selfish child being selfish to their parent. It is the dynamics of a parent and a child doesn't change a ton from childhood to adulthood in the fact that your kids can hurt you more than anybody else. And if they think, I've literally gotten an argument with my son before and he has said, you will never see your grandson again. He knew that's what would hurt me. Now, we only fight for like 20 minutes. Like we fight full out and then we can't stand being in a fight for like 20 minutes. But literally they can do that. And it's just like the divorce. It's not about my relationship with my son. It is about my relationship with my grandkids.
I get that. I think with the way that the government is, there are too many corrupt people in place. I just think that's a very dangerous thing to try to implement.
I agree with that.
Like there could be like behind the door molestation going on and nobody knows about it. And this
Right.
grandparent who's like, yeah, I've never done anything to hurt this child. I need access to this child is now free to do that by law.
Yeah, I think that there needs to be health wellness checks and health checks and things like that when it comes to kids anyways. But I agree that there is a very fine line of letting the government involved in anything.
Yeah.
And there are people who make allegations just to prevent people from seeing their kids.
They do.
We have somebody coming in next month who did a documentary called We the Parents that you guys can watch on YouTube for free. And it is about parents' struggles to have the right to be in their kids' lives through the court systems in the United States. It's a really good documentary. It's only like 45 or 50 minutes long. Highly recommend that you guys watch that. So I do agree. You guys know how I am anyways. I'm a less government guy. I don't think they should be involved in anything. I think that in the event that somebody's kid gets touched, they should be thrown in a wood chipper. And
Dead offenders don't reoffend.
correct. Yeah, make great fertilizer, right?
Have nice onions next winter.
But when it comes to the grandparent or aunt and uncle, people having unlimited access to your kids because you share DNA, I still just disagree with it. I think that relationship needs to be the deciding factor, and that you need to be on good terms with your parents and like your kids and grandkids. And I think that if people are working to have a strong community amongst their family, those questions really wouldn't come up unless you have a spiteful little shit of a kid that wants to try to be manipulative and play that game.
Right.
And then, I mean, obviously that lends into a different conversation, and we can explore that if you guys really want to. But I do see her point. I think it's a very valid point, especially because I have people in my family that are very fucking manipulative that will do everything that they can to get their way. In that scenario where they're hanging the kid over your head, to do that is fucking wrong.
Right.
Like, yeah. So,
I think that's more of like I didn't mean to interrupt. I'm
no,
sorry.
you're good. Have at this is what we do.
Okay, cool. I think it's more that would be more of like a counseling type thing. Like keep the courts out of it and keep the government out of it. And like I said, I don't know what states have grandparents' rights or whatever, but it's something that needs to be addressed, but probably just personally, probably just within the dynamic of the family. If my son would have stood hard on that, I would have gone to some kind of, I would have tried to go to some kind of counseling or some kind of mediation that says, this isn't cool. Grandparents are really, really important to kids.
They really are.
100%, yeah.
Yeah. And I agree with that 1,000%. Yeah. I actually respect the shit out of you for even saying that. You know how many people would be like, that's just the way my kid wants to be, fuck them, and then just write the grandbabies off. Like, it's not the grandbaby's fault for that.
Right.
No. I did say to my son, that's on you, not on me. But we fight. When we argue, we can argue pretty hard. We're both stubborn and mouthy, and so it's the good and the bad of having a kid like that's a lot like me. But I just said that's on you, not on me. So if you don't give them the reaction they're looking for by dangling the kids over, because I promise there's going to be a weekend they're going to want to go out of town, or a night they're going to want to go out, and they're going to be, Mom,
Right.
So I don't think the courts belong in it. I have to agree with that.
You said that grandparents, we all said that grandparents are super important in life. So I'm 43 years old now, guys. I'll be 44 this year. I'm starting to come out of my prime and into my old age.
That just doesn't sound right.
I know
to
it
me.
doesn't, but things hurt a whole lot more getting in and out of bed every day now. So my body's telling me it's time to slow the fuck down. But I am way more patient at 43 than I was at 23. And I have a whole lot more wisdom, right? I am able to explain things dummied way down for a child that I wasn't able to before, that would just frustrate me. So when I see kids that are young parents, because if you're in your 20s with a baby, you're a kid with a kid. That's my opinion. You can hate me if you want to. I don't give a shit. You haven't been dicked down by life yet. You haven't really had to figure things out on your own because your parents are still very prevalent in your life and helping. So when I see those parents that are getting overstimulated, overwhelmed, starting to raise their voices, aren't able to answer the why question for the 15th time in a row, and like, I can do that now, guys. Like, that's my superpower. I've got patience and can make those why conversations fun. And when you spill your milk on the carpet, I'm not going to scream and be like, hey, let me show you how to clean that up. Next time it falls, grab that shit quick and stand it back up, because then it's a smaller mess. Like, I don't get angry about that shit. Whereas when I was in my 20s, I'd freak the fuck out because now I got to clean up milk. You know what I mean? It's on the carpet. What happens when the AC breaks and that milk smell? You know what I mean? Like, so it's a very different thing. But when it comes to grandparents, if you raise your kids, you can spoil your grandbabies. Yes. If you spoil your kids, you're raising your grandbabies. And like, either way,
That is such a good analogy.
It's true.
I've never heard it like that.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true. So for those of you who sent super chats, we did get them. Our screeners are catching them. We will get into those at the end of the email. So thank you for the supers. I saw 2 of them pop through. Would you like to get back into the email?
Yes, back into the email. Her ex-mother-in-law has screamed at her on the phone to the point of her being in tears because of V wanting to pick her kids up from school. Her ex-mother-in-law said that this is her time to spend with the kids and V can't take that away from her. This is her right as a grandma to see her grandkids.
Okay, I'm coming back in.
That was okay. Do you want to go first?
No, because I'm not going to forget what I have to say.
Okay.
So go ahead.
That was a very manipulative statement.
It was. Yes, it fucking was.
This is her time to spend with the kids, and V can't take that away from her. This is her right as a grandma to see her grandkids. You can see the kids on a Saturday evening.
Right.
You can take the kids out for a picnic Sunday morning. I don't know. It rubs me the wrong way when people, especially family, think that they can just dictate the way that your family lives life because they're grandma.
Right. So let's lay out this scenario. You got husband or ex-husband. I'm sorry, ex-husband,
Yes,
mom,
ex-husband.
grandma and grandpa on both sides. So what is that? 4 households?
Yeah.
So at what point is their structure? To what point is the structure in all 4 of those households? Because everybody's going to have a different set of rules.
Right.
So when you have a child that's grown up on 4 different times with 4 different sets of rules, there's not a true, I don't know how to explain what I'm trying to say.
Standard of life.
Right. So like we co-parent really well.
We do.
Jasmine and Brandon are on their fucking A game when it comes to co-parenting. We call them like, yo, this is what just happened. They're like, okay, got it, heard.
I actually just received a text message.
Right, because we have the exact same rule structure.
Yeah.
How common is it just for co-parents to have that? It's not very common. There's actually another word for it that I learned the other day, and I don't remember it, so I guess I didn't learn it to the best of my ability because it's fucking gone. But there is another term for parallel parenting. I knew it would come back.
There
Which
you
is
go.
not co-parenting. It is you're trying to do your best to co-parent, but you're just similarly running schedules. I think it would be easier to parallel parent with 4 households than to co-parent with 4 households. So having 4 different hands in the pot of raising the kids at whim, there's not a real structure. What if there's after-school programs like band or jujitsu, soccer, baseball, football, whatever, and mom is only able to go to one of those practices, dad can go to one of those practices, grandma can go to one of those practices, whatever. But at what point that child's interaction with all of those parents are spread so fucking thin that there's not that structure there.
Right. That also starts taking away like free time for the child.
Right.
Everyone's so worried about getting their quality time with the child. Like, when is this child going to have some self-discovery time?
Can I just say that this is when the grandparents need to grow the fuck up?
Yeah.
Because in honesty, the way that my dynamic works is that I work around my son's schedule. So my son works full time. He's got a stay-at-home mom. It's his stay-at-home wife, mom, girl, lady, person. She stays home with the kids. How's that? And then they have their things they want to do on the weekends. So what I do as a grandma, when I was living close enough to visit them, I would contact them maybe on Tuesday or Wednesday and say, what you guys got planned for this weekend? We're doing this, this, and this. Okay. Can I squeeze this in some time with the kids on this day or this day? Or I'd call them on Tuesday and say, hey, if you guys want to go out this weekend, bring the kids to me. I've got them for the weekend. As a grandmother, I have no right to say, I'm entitled to this time with the kids. Bring them to me on this day when I say, oh, no, ma'am. You back up and you work around their schedule because they're the nucleus of the family.
Right.
And especially in exes, to me, the ex's parents' time with the kids is on his time.
Right. Yeah, I agree with that.
Not on mine.
Yep.
Because I have parents,
Right.
I have parents that to deal with and that want to visit the kids. So they visit my parents on my time and his parents on his time. And those overbearing, and I will say right out, overbearing grandparents need to back off. That's ridiculous that they want to try to.
I agree with all of that. I think that the time frame of all of that matters too. And you're right. You should be trying to work it with family. Like his time and his grandparents' time, baby's grandparents, like that should be a thing. Somebody said, wait, was that manipulative statement coming from the boyfriend? He doesn't exactly have a right to decide who is entitled to the children's time either. Was that a him statement or a her statement?
That was the ex-mother-in-law statement.
Okay.
Yeah.
They asked, so I was trying to clarify.
Back into the email.
Please.
Do you have something you want to add, Meg?
I do.
Okay.
Because from what they just said, they're wondering if the boyfriend said this, right?
Yeah.
So I guess he's writing the email.
He is.
Correct.
The boyfriend, the fiance, whatever. And he's trying to create a family with this woman and her kids. Why in the hell wouldn't he have a say? At some point, why wouldn't he have a say if he's trying to create a family with this woman and her children? They are a package deal.
That is a fucking statement. Can we talk about that?
Yeah.
So, as a bonus dad who didn't want to be a bonus dad, right?
Right.
Like we talked about that when we were just like kind of courting, and I wasn't about it. Like I didn't think that I wanted to play that game again. I raised my kids. Like I was done with that. I was ready to retire and like live in a van or go ride dirt bikes for the rest of my life and just have fun. Mm-hmm. If I was told that when it comes to the kids, I have no say or no part, and I'm just going to be this innocent bystander and watching them grow up, I would have never committed to being in this relationship ever. Because why would I live with one foot in the grave knowing that I'm going to financially provide for you and the kids and be that positive role model from a distance?
Right.
Right? Like that. So, and if you're a woman who has children and you're meeting men and you're just bringing them to everyone and your kid doesn't know who their fucking dad is because every new man is their new dad, that's a very different conversation. But if you're responsible with your children and the relationships that you're bringing them into, I do agree with that. Why would a man want to leave and cleave, so to speak, and bring you into the fold and create that new family environment and raise those children as his own if he's got one foot in the grave because he's not related to those kids?
He's a bystander in his own home.
He's a paycheck.
Yeah. He goes to work, comes home, and then just kind of sits aside at the beck and call when something needs like discipline maybe, or like I need your dad voice.
Yeah.
But you can't tell me what's right or wrong in the situation. I just need you to get them stopped.
I think that that's a for sure way to get your children to make sure that the step parent is hated.
Yeah.
To only
I
be the
agree.
disciplinary, like
They're not only hated, they're disrespected.
constantly. Yeah.
You know, you've got to let them have the good parts with the kids as well. Okay, there's such a dynamic there because some women will say, you are not going to discipline my children. The hell I'm not. They're living in my house. Mm-hmm. And I'm an adult and they're the kids. Now, putting hands on the kids, I get that. I get it. We
Right.
have to get together on our parenting style. But when it comes to acting like this guy is just for you until you need them to do something for the kids is a very unfair place to put a man. To put a stepmom as well. You know, any bonus parent. I love the thing bonus parent because it puts you in a parenting role as well. Mm-hmm. And that just, that could be a whole other.
Yeah. I take great pride in our kids, right? Like there are days where like something will be said and I'll be like, damn. And you'll be like, what? And I'm like, I just realized they're not mine. You know what I mean? Cause like, I don't view it that way. When I'm running around the yard, chasing them on their four-wheelers or taking them to do things and they're calling me pops and telling me they love me and I'm holding their hands to make sure they're safe and I'm in that protector role, those are my fucking kids. So like, I couldn't imagine being in a relationship where somebody who has children and just being in that behind the curtain thing when needed or to be, it just doesn't make sense to me. And for women who pick good men and marry them and want their sons to be good men, they have a positive role model. Why wouldn't you allow that good man to discipline your child? And by discipline, like you said, it doesn't always mean put their hands on them. Sometimes it's just a conversation. Some of our best discipline is a conversation. Like we put them in timeout for a second until they get their wits about them and then have a conversation about why we don't do those things. Like, you know, that 30-second cool down, 5-minute cool down, if that's what's needed, because if they're screaming and crying, we're not going to try to talk to them. They're not going to retain any of it. I think that that's a very important distinction.
Mm-hmm. If you put a man in a position where he's not allowed to discipline your kid, even if it's just talking, you're just opening the door wide open for those kids to completely disrespect him.
Yeah.
And then there's never going to be a mesh. It's always going to be us against them.
Right.
And that is just a recipe for disaster.
And that actually multiplies when you look at blended families. If dad has kids and the new mom has kids and you guys are trying to mesh, it's going to be our family versus yours. Well, you're not my dad. Well, you're not my mom. You're not my brother. You're not my sister. You know what I mean? Like, it absolutely does create a whole lot of headache in that aspect too.
I'd lose my damn mind if one of the kids said, you're not my dad.
It would break my fucking heart.
I would lose it.
I know that I'm not their dad.
Right.
But I would die for those kids.
Right.
You know what I mean? So like, you are my fucking kid. You'd be like, you're right. I'm not your dad. I'm your pops. Like, come on.
Right.
Let's be realistic here. I've been here since you were little. Like, so yeah, I don't know. That hurt. That hypothetical hurt.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Don't like that.
No.
They adore you.
All right, let's get back into the email. Would you
right.
like something to drink? Anyone?
I would, yeah.
I would love
Are there
water.
new ones?
I don't know.
Is there a water?
No. Maybe on the water. It won't be cold, but maybe.
That's fine.
Okay, I'll wait for you to come back.
If I drink an energy drink, I'll bounce off the walls, and that wouldn't be good.
How are you enjoying it?
Love it.
Yeah? Is this
Yeah.
fun for you?
Yeah,
Dope.
it's really cool. I'm getting. My daughter just sent me a text, and she said, oh, you're on a podcast.
We don't have water. We can Instacart something though.
Okay.
Do you want one of these?
No, I don't. I don't like those ones. Thank
Do you
you.
want the mango one?
No.
All right. Would you like me to Instacart or DoorDash some drinks?
Yes.
Okay, I'll do that while you read.
Okay.
Is there a water brand that you want?
No, water.
Her kids play basketball, and baseball, so the ex's family gets to see them all 2 to 4 times a week at all of the games during the week/weekend. There are lots more to go over, but I don't want to send you a novel. I almost said novella. I feel as a man in the relationship, it is my job to protect her and the kids from these kinds of attacks. At what point do I step in and tell her ex's family they need to back off and let go? V doesn't want me to get involved, but I see her breaking down and being depressed, and I can't sit back and keep letting them do this to her. Thanks for the advice. I need to think about this.
I was gonna say that's the hard part.
I have an opinion on this, but I'm trying to find.
Okay.
Do you want?
Do the Instagram?
Please, yeah, because this is more your thing than
I
mine.
got you.
When you insert yourself into an in-law situation, you are doing nothing other than creating conflict. Because even if you're in the right, it's the person that's related to those people's duty to deal with that, right? If you and I had a family member that you had beef with that was on my family,
Right.
and you stepped in and said some foul shit, I'm now in the middle of a fucking turf war between my family and my woman. But if you came to me and said, babe, this is what's going on and it really fucking bothers me, and then I go to them and I'm like, look, what just happened is incorrect and we're not going to do that. That's my woman. Like, I am now in a position to like mediate that in a way that I'm not in the middle. I'm in the forefront. So I think that that's an important distinction because he's just a boyfriend right now and they're not living together. And it's only been, what do they say, a year?
A year, yeah.
So he's now trying to like plant roots in this family. He needs to have a very stern discussion with her about how things need to be, like boundaries need to be set and how she needs to enforce those boundaries with these people. And if she's unable to do that after 4 or 5 months of her trying, then maybe a discussion needs to be had where he sits down with them and can give his side of things. But I don't see there being a winning scenario in this because he's an outsider. He's not the person in the picture to really be making these kind of demands.
Would you like something to drink?
I got one.
How about a snack?
I have one of those too.
Y'all are too cute. I'm just sitting in there. All right.
Oh, man.
People are really enjoying this live, by the way.
Oh, good. It gets so messy. But there's where do you draw the line between being that person's spouse and the in-law? Okay, so I after we're done with this email and we address this, I have a scenario that I want to put out there. along the same lines, but I want to get your guys' opinion, if you don't mind.
Yeah, I mean, we
If you
can do
don't
it
mind.
now. The email's done, right?
Yeah, that was the end of the email. Well, we didn't give any advice.
We didn't give a
Well, you
solution.
did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have a very calm yet firm talk of, look, if we're going to do this, then this is going to be the rest of my life. We need to set boundaries. More specifically, she needs to find her self-worth as a parent and a mother and set her own boundaries with his family.
I think it's important to know that in a situation like this, if this was us in this email and like I'm ready to step up to the plate and be dad, you know what I mean? Or bonus dad or whatever you want to call it. And this is going on and you're like, I want you to handle this. You have to understand that I'm going to be as diplomatic as I can, but you've just invited me to war.
Right.
So like things could get real fucking ugly because you've now put me in the position to do that.
And there's no emotional attachment. Because
Zero.
It's not your family.
Right. I'm more worried about you.
Right.
And a year in, I'm not really worried too much about your kids either. You know what I mean? Because I haven't established that relationship with them the way that I've established with you, especially if they're little kids. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
they don't have personalities yet. My job is just to keep them safe, and I could view this as me keeping them safe. And then how far am I willing to go to do that? Like, is he willing to get lawyers and like really take this to court, or is he willing, you know, like how far are you willing to take this?
Right.
That's also an important measure. I got to be honest, I would let her handle this. And if she can't and she really needs you to step in, you need to figure out what's not okay. Because there's times where you're like, hey, babe, I need you to, and you're like, whoa, wait. But not like that. And I'm like, okay, well, thank you for the clarification because
Yeah.
I need that clarification because my too far and your too far is very different lines.
Yes, they are.
So
Correct.
what was your scenario?
Okay, so first I need to see if you guys have an iPhone charger. Anywhere.
Which one?
I have a pack in my car that I can put, but
it
I'm
the-
at like at 5%.
Is
Is
it
it
a
the
USB-C or the Thunderbolt?
Oh, it's a lightning. But I have one in my car if I can run out and get it. I don't want. Are you going to be okay without it? Yeah. Okay. Sorry. I can grab it.
Hang on.
I don't want to cross any.
No. Oh, you're good.
Okay. All right. So here's the scenario, and it's not a stepchild. It is actual children in a marriage.
Okay.
Right? This is a married couple, been married for 14 years. They have 2 small children. And the wife's, someone in the wife's family, brother, I think, is a active drug user. Him and his wife both. And they have kids. And the husband in this family, they're having a family get together. And he said, I do not want my children, our children, around an active drug user, around 2 active drug users. And he said, if you don't tell them, I will. And she took that as an ultimatum where, in my view, that's a choice. Either you
Right.
tell them or I do. But as the in-law, you know, those are his brother and sister-in-law. Is that his place? Those are his children and her children. But like now they're not speaking because of this scenario. So like, when do you think it's okay to say, you know, is it okay for him to go to her family, or is that for her to handle her family?
I would handle this one of 2 ways. It would be, if we are going and the children are coming, if you don't say something, I will say something, 100%. Or the kids and I aren't going. You can go by yourself and you can tell everyone why we're not there.
So, but what she's asking is if this was our situation and this was your brother
Right.
and you were okay with it and I wasn't, and we decided that if you weren't going to say something, I was going to, I would view that as your duty to say something to your family.
Right. I agree.
Okay. And it was the other way around. It would be my duty to say something to my family. And if neither one of us were capable of doing so because we didn't want to hurt feelings, then the other person needs to be the one to step up, because at the end of the day, it's the children that need to be protected,
I agree.
not the drug addicts.
Yeah.
So I think that the way the hierarchy works, when you get married and you have children, that is your family.
Okay.
I think anything beyond that is blood relatives that don't have a right to your existence unless they've earned it. Because you wouldn't allow somebody that's done you dirty or that is horrible to your children around your kids. And just because somebody shares DNA with you doesn't mean that they have free access to your children. That's something that needs to be earned. So your immediate family is your priority. And if you have a good community in your family and everybody's on the up and up, that's fucking dope. But the household that I live in with my wife and my children is my ultimate priority. Everything beyond that, I don't. So you hear people say, well, we're getting married, you're joining the family. No, I'm creating my own family.
I'm creating a family.
Right. And you guys are a byproduct of that. And we love you and you're welcome to come to our house at Christmas time and barbecues and things like that. But you're only going to be here at the grace of us.
Right.
Because I have to make sure that my kids are mentally safe and that they're taken care of and that my wife is nurtured and that our home is peaceful, that we don't have war in our castle. You know what I mean? So I think that that's an important distinction. And I think for people that in a situation like you laid out where there are drug addicts involved, I
That's a hard no.
I wouldn't want that in my house.
Right.
Well, it's not in their house, it's at somebody else's house, but they're going to be there. And what I try to explain to them, and I don't know a ton about addiction, but they said, well, what if we just tell them not to use while they're there? And I thought, do you know how a vial of cocaine is about this big and fits in your pocket?
Right.
You go into, I said, addicts aren't going to not do it. And his point was, I'm either going to have my kids with somebody actively high on cocaine or actively in withdrawal.
Right. And neither one of those are good for a child.
No. But she is mad because he wants to say something if she doesn't. He has given her the choice to say something. Please address it with them. And she just said, if it's between this and our marriage, I pick that.
This would be one of those times that I pulled rank.
Yeah.
I got to be honest. You have given me the ability in our marriage to be the final decision maker. And this would be one of those things where you're like, I want to go to this barbecue and these people are going to be there. And I would just probably like, we're not going to that.
Right.
If I'm that concerned about those people being around my kids, whether high or withdrawal, we're just not going.
Yeah.
And when your family's like, how come? You can blame me for that. I'll be the bad guy there if needed, but I'm not putting my kids in that position.
Yeah. The only thing coming to my mind is that she needs to get over herself. Like the children are getting ready to witness something really terrible because you want to preserve feelings.
Right.
Yeah, the potential for something bad happening with a group of people and two active addicts who have really gotten worse over the last year. He just doesn't want it around his kids, and I don't blame him. I think he's 100% right on target, and I don't. I just think he's right.
It's not an unreasonable request.
It's not. It's not at all.
She would shelter her children away from
A stranger who's high.
right outside of 7-Eleven. Oh, we're not going to go inside of there. Let's go somewhere else. You're not going to take them to a seedy part of town where it's known for homeless addicts to be, because you know that shit's not safe.
Right.
Exactly. And I think she has in her kind of defense, I think she has this idea I can protect them from that. That's my family. There is no protection from the what I would say would be the unpredictability of addicts being there.
Yeah.
And of that being in there.
Humans are already unpredictable as is.
Right.
Like add an altered mind state.
Yeah.
I'm good on that.
People tend to forget that your kids see everything.
Correct.
Right? So, like, we all remember being kids. We know that we did a whole lot of shit our parents never knew or saw shit that they didn't know we saw.
Right.
You know, and it's not something that we ever really talk about, but we know what we know.
Yep.
So kids are going to see that shit. And when they wonder why Uncle Bobby is flying off the fucking handle or is super energetic at 3 o'clock in the morning, like, or puking the entire time that he's there and cold sweating and shivering. Like,
Why is he talking like that?
right.
Why can't he stand up straight?
Yeah. This wasn't how he acted the last time I was here. Why is he being so aggressive? Right? Like, yeah.
There's just so many scenarios that can happen, and I think he's absolutely 100% right about protecting the kids.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody's got to do it.
Yeah.
If you're not, and the dynamics of an addict in the family, are they protect them to the point of you will find them when they get a hold of the fentanyl that's going to kill them. That's when you'll find them, and good luck to you. But when it comes to throwing your kids or allowing your kids into that situation, that's a hard no, and that is something you can control.
Right.
100%. Thank you for your input. I appreciate it.
Over my dead body.
Let's
Final answer.
Let's get into some supers real quick.
Okay.
Awesome.
Just Care said it's selfish of the grandparent to think that they have rights over a child they didn't birth. Amy Wolf for $20 said, hello, thank you for asking and answering my question earlier. Been listening to Be Better for almost a year, but I don't say much because I overthink what I say. Rewrote this several times, but y'all got me with that Feb Discord. Love that.
I get that. I revise text messages at least 4 times before I send them.
Do you?
I do, yeah.
That's why I don't smoke.
No, I'm like that sober. It doesn't matter.
I'm not.
Oh.
Sober,
that's why
sober
you
mind,
don't
I'm like,
smoke,
hey,
because-
blah, 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 blah. Oh, that
Yeah.
looks like shit. Sorry. Not sober mind, I'm like, hey, how's your day?
Does that hey look weird to you?
How's your day? Do I add a comma there? Like, hey, comma? And it'll take me 45 minutes to send
Yeah.
3 words, so I don't do that. Amy Wolf also sent a $5 super chat and said, Chris, you've taught me so much on the podcast. I hope you never make good on your threat to stay behind the scenes. That's not really a threat. If I had the ability to just kind of produce every once in a while and be behind the camera, that's where I feel like I shine the most because I'm good at the technology aspect. But I enjoy this. This is fun for me. So.
You are so good though, like as just a probably a newer viewer. Your perspective is so amazing, and hearing your perspective is so amazing. So I hope you don't ever dip behind the camera all the way. I mean, the dynamic of the two of you is what makes this so amazing.
Right.
Like what you do on your own is fucking phenomenal. But what you guys do together and the dynamic you bring, it doesn't make anybody feel alienated because you've got a guy with an opinion and a woman with an opinion. And it's like, I'm sorry, a man with an opinion and a woman with an opinion. And when it just makes it what's magic about you guys. It's cool. So I have to side with the super chat and say, I hope you don't ever get.
Yeah. I don't think Peaches would actually let me step back.
No, I wouldn't.
There's an intimacy in this for us, right? And this has helped who we are as people, not just as a married couple, but as people. This has made us grow, and it's made us evaluate things and get perspectives that we would have otherwise not had because our cognitive bias did not allow us to have that.
Right.
Like the conversation that we had a minute ago about grandmas fighting for rights for their babies. Like I would have never had that conversation because I would go to war to keep my mom away from my kids. You know what I
Right.
mean? So like, there's no way that I would ever let our babies around those people. I'm just not. But it's cool to see somebody who's invested that genuinely loves them babies that are like, hey, I'm not going to let you take that from me kind of thing. Like it's refreshing. So Jeremy Hastings for $10 said, my fiance and I have been together for over a year. I'm sorry, a little over a year. We have a child together that passed away at birth. I have not met her 3 kids or her family. She said she's just super private. That's a lot. My fiance and I have been together for a little over a year. We have a child together that passed away at birth, and I have not met her 3 kids or her family. She says she's super private. Bro, you are engaged to be married, and she has 3 children that you have not met. That is a fucking red flag, dude.
I'd be thinking like she's living a double life.
down.
I was going to say she has a whole other family.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
she's still with the baby's dad and like fucking playing house.
Yeah,
That's-
I would not trust that at all.
Yeah. Yep. The homie, Darth Cinderin.
Were you? I'm sorry, I can't move on from that. Were you there, like for the birth and like seeing the child, or was that something that she just told you? Like, were you did you see her pregnant?
Let's see if there's a...
I'm
I'm looking at the chat to see who was it that sent that message?
Jeremy Hastings sent that. People are asking about my shirt. This comes from Relentless Defender. Devoted, involved, loving father. If you use the code to be better on their website, you'll save 15%.
I love that shirt.
Yep, so do I. It's one of my favorite t-shirts. And it doesn't make me look a little husky. Not like medium husky. I'm like a little small husky right now on my shirt. It's one of the ones that still fit me the way they're supposed to, but
husky light.
husky light. It's medium.
Medium. That works.
Darth Cinderin said, how do you handle your SO making the unilateral decision that your kids can't see someone in particular, even after amends have been made for that person's wrongdoing?
I need you to read that again.
Yeah, that's a lot.
How do you handle your SO making the unilateral decision that your kids can't see someone, even after amends have been made for that person's wrongdoing?
What was the wrongdoing?
Yeah.
I think that matters.
Yeah, like
I do think that matters. Were they drinking and driving with a baby in the car? Like,
Right.
Kids ain't safe there. We're not.
were
doing
they
that.
intoxicated, screaming at one of the children? Like that's
Yeah. I think the slight there matters more than anything else. Amy Wolf sent a $5 super chat to get to the $25 mark, so she's
dope.
able to get the Discord and Patreon for the month of February. Jenny said there's a very short email from Jeremy. He sent it before the super chat.
Oh, okay. Is it easily accessible?
I'm sure it is because Jenny's good at what she does, but let me check just the Gmail real quick because
Okay.
your bar cart that I bought you before we went live shipped. It'll be here tomorrow.
Oh, dope. Thank you. I'm gonna eat some
bar
mac and
cart?
cheese when we get home. Huh?
Got a bar cart?
Yeah. So I want to start doing cooking segments.
Oh, nice.
Right. And we don't have an island in the kitchen, and I loathe the fact that we don't have an island. It makes it so much easier for recording. And I was talking to my husband about it this morning, and he was like, what if we did like a bar cart? And I was like, stop, you're so smart.
Yes.
Right.
I have one of those in the middle of my kitchen now. And at first I thought, oh, I'll put it against the wall to make more like counter space. No. My roommate put it in the middle. Well, Joe put it in
Yeah.
the middle, right? And I'm like, why is it there? And at first it is the best dang thing ever. I love it. I would not have that kitchen without it now. It's great.
So Jeremy said he was there,
Okay.
but here's the email for you to
Okay.
read, babe.
Okay.
My fiance and I have been together for a little over a year. We have a child together that passed away at birth. I have not met her 3 kids or family. She said she is just super private. I don't even know where she lives. She has met my son and has been to my place, and most of the time we get a hotel room or just go for dinner. When I bring it up, she says it makes her not want to do it anymore. So I'm at a loss and I don't know what to do anymore. I'm frustrated. We really only communicate through text, or the only time she calls me is when she's in the car. She's got a whole, she's
got
with
a
a
whole
husband.
family.
She's
Yeah.
married.
Yep.
You're her side dude.
Yep.
Yeah, you're a side piece, bro.
Yep.
That's exactly what that is.
I would love to know if he's giving her money.
Yeah.
That's a good
Same.
question.
Like, just not paying her per se, but like if she's relying on him in any way financially or whatever, she's got a whole damn family.
Oh,
There's no
yeah.
doubt. He doesn't know where she lives.
Even
Right.
if she's not
Engaged.
married.
Engaged.
They're only talking by text or when she.
Yeah. Or
And-
if she's driving.
Only, yeah, if she's driving.
Oh, for heaven's sakes. She's got
I'd
a whole
FaceTime
husband.
her randomly at like 10:30 at night.
Yeah. Hey, babe, what are you doing?
Yeah.
She ain't going to answer the phone, though.
No, she's not, but I'd blow her shit up.
Yeah.
Who's calling you? It's 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah. That's something else, man.
Wow.
Do you want to read the update from Jenna? We got that email.
We can.
Yeah, let's do that.
All right. So this is a thank you from apparently Jenna.
Hold on. Somebody said similar happened to a creator on here. The girlfriend passed away in his bed and found out that she was married with 5 kids and had a whole other life.
Whoa.
I need to know the name of that creator. So if
That's
whoever's
insane.
Clary, if you know who that is, please post it because I want to look into that.
Right.
Now my Jerry Springer's triggered.
Call me a cat because you piqued my curiosity.
All right, so I have to address this real quick.
Okay.
Madison Hines has sent this probably 10 times because every time I look over, I see it. And it says, hey, guys, she's copy and pasting it because it says verbatim. I just received an email and responded with an update for you guys. I would love to be here for a live read on the update. We have to have that shit screened and proofread before it gets there.
Right.
We're very randomly ever just picking an email and reading it that the mods haven't gone through yet because...
We don't do that.
Right.
Yeah.
We have had horrible fucking experience reading emails that have not been pre-screened where there's been child abuse and
Oh,
rape.
yeah. I'm
and,
traumatized by some of the emails
yeah.
we've seen.
So just be patient.
Yeah.
When the wizards say, hey, read this email, we say, cool, we got that because that's what they do.
Yeah.
They're our handlers.
They are. And we give them heart attacks sometimes. Yeah.
Jenny said, I didn't know you read that. I'm having a fucking heart attack right now. All right.
All right. Into the thank you.
Yes.
Ooh, I think our
I'll go check.
drinks are on the way.
Oh, on the way? Not approaching? What?
No.
Uh-oh.
Canceled it? Sent it to the house, didn't you?
No, it's none of it.
Oh.
I'm not getting the payday I wanted.
The what? Oh, the candy bar?
Candy bar. It was out of stock. They refunded it.
It's funny.
Now
Zach
I'm just
said you
getting
only
chocolate milk.
Zach said you only get to traumatize me.
Chocolate milk.
All right.
Okay.
If we have time, we could also read Sabrina's email because it's been sitting for a while too.
I thought we read that already.
Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know.
I'm almost certain that we read that already.
I'm just here for the ride.
Okay.
I'm just here to push buttons.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Wait, where am I?
You're right there.
No, I don't know where I'm at in the drive. Okay. Here we go. After a year of following and nearly a year of moderating in your Discord, I figured it was due time that I wrote an email to you, explain why I'm here and what's kept me around and why you're stuck with me for the long haul.
Love that.
Sorry, not sorry. I've been in a loving relationship with an incredible man for nearly 17 years, married for 10, and we have 2 incredible, albeit crazy, children. We currently have a traditional marriage. He works his ass off to provide for us, and I provide him the fuel to do so. It's truly an incredible life, though it hasn't always been this way. In fact,
Jenny says you should take a hit or 3 for this.
for this, I'd have to step outside.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, my vapes are dead.
Are you going to cry?
Probably.
Maybe.
Peaches does
Okay.
that.
I know she
might.
does. I know.
All right. In fact, between year 2 and 7, it was truly touch and go. We've been through a lot, nearly anything you could think of. Infidelity, a couple of years of the roommate phase, emotional neglect, feelings of isolation, complete loss of communication, mental health struggles, losses, and more. We worked through it all on our own. We found our own tools and did the work together the best way we knew how. Honestly, the last 5 to 7 years have been nothing short of magical. So, if everything is great, we've worked through all of our struggles, we've survived and thrived despite the odds, why am I here? Why are we here? What about you guys is so enigmatic. Oh, fuck me. Enigmatic. Stop me when I get it right, guys.
How about just
I don't know.
Just keep
I'm
going.
wondering what it is. It sounds like magnetic.
Enigmatic. Enigmatic.
Yeah.
It's a big word. I don't know.
Enigmatic.
7th grade education.
We're all here trying our best.
When Google kicks.
Enigmatic.
Enigmatic.
Zach for the win.
Thank you. Enigmatic.
Somebody said, Chris, hurry up and say something sweet. Got to stick to the rules.
What keeps us around even when we think we have it all figured out? Well, I think I have an idea. We'll have to use your visual mind for it, though, as it's full of metaphors. I speak in metaphors a lot. Sorry if it comes across as crazy, though I feel like you will understand once you get the whole picture. Imagine your life being a glass building. Each phase of life is a different room created in a different color. My childhood was blue, my adolescence red, motherhood yellow, becoming a wife pink, etc. Every room I've built has been a struggle, some harder than others, some more delicate, some seemingly indestructible, but all of them created by me. Looking around you, you can easily see that life wasn't easy or kind. The walls themselves are proof of it. Corners are taped, tarps on some of the seams, caulking that's dried and crumbling, walls propped up at awkward angles. It's a far cry from perfection, but it's held together fine and the tinted glass is beautiful. One thing I've come to find while living in a glass home is that everyone in my life has needed to help me in some way. As I journeyed from room to room, every time the glass would crack, they would quickly jump up to seal it. A rock would hit a pane and a family member would mend it. A storm would roll in and hail would crash down on me, and my friends would rush to protect the walls. I see these moments as them saying it's not you, it's them. I see those moments as them saying, it's not you, it's them. Oh, so like a breakup. It's not you, it's me.
Yeah.
Okay. I've survived this life of fragility, being protected by the ones I loved. Nobody once took the time to question my building choices. Nobody challenged me to build it stronger. Nobody forcing me to look at the walls and see the imperfections. Anytime it was judged, I stood behind the tinted glass and scoffed. It's them, not me. I built these walls on my own, regardless of the circumstances, and I'm proud of them because at times it was like building through a hurricane. What I didn't know, what nobody had the balls to tell me, is that maybe glass wasn't the best idea. Insert to be better. Walking in with mallets and safety glasses.
Yeah, smash room, bitches.
I love it.
We fucked up everything you knew.
Yeah, game on. Hope you motherfuckers are wearing goggles.
Hopefully it didn't catch you in your jammies.
It's funny.
You weren't looking down on my glass home. Oh. You weren't here to judge me. You weren't here looking down on my glass home. But you definitely weren't there to protect me from the pieces you broke the walls as you broke the walls down. You refused to allow me to live in life. You refused to allow me to live in such a fragile state. So you smashed that fucker to the ground. Room by room, you walked the halls and shattered them around me. Well, good news is you can make a really nice mosaic now. I'm not going to lie and tell you that I didn't panic because Lord knows I did. I watched as my beliefs cracked, my sense of self-assurance crashed to the ground, my audacity tested. What do you mean I'm the problem? How dare you point out my flaws? I built this perfectly. We're happy. I meticulously polished every wall. Didn't I? To that you said, nah, fuck them walls, and you smashed them a little more before eventually you started dropping bricks. I frantically scooped up all the glass and tucked it to the side, hoping I could salvage it, and as I did, you handed me a pail of mortar. Episode after episode, I was given the opportunity to stack the bricks, and slowly I rebuilt my foundation. I have had the tools all along, but nobody had shown me how to use them, so instead of stacking bricks, I patched glass with everything I could find. As I built it brick by brick, I found others whose glass homes had been shattered, and we started building together. Some mixing mortar, some carrying heavy loads of bricks, and others sweeping up the glass. Nobody was running to protect each other during storms because we knew the walls were strong. We knew our homes would withstand it. Instead of panicking, we grew confident and started applying new techniques. We grew proud of our sturdy walls and started sharing how we built them. A community came together, and in doing so, so did our homes. I'm belly breathing so I don't start crying yet.
Yeah.
After a year of building, my home is mostly complete, aside from the upkeep. I have never felt more safe, secure, and proud.
I'm gonna cry.
The best part of it all was the broken glass. You didn't get rid of it. You took the glass and soldered it into You took the glass and soldered it together, making it beautiful mosaics of the past. Oh,
You just said that.
I can't stop it.
There it is.
Give me a minute, guys.
Not a podcast till Peaches cries.
Correct.
I think I have something.
Whoever wrote this has missed a calling in being a writer.
Yeah. We actually
Beautiful.
we have two wordsmiths on our Discord that is very on it.
Wow.
Heather will send emails that makes us cry every time. We
Amazing.
real shit. Peaches and I pray for you guys. And I know that not everybody wants that, and that's okay. Just know that the intent that behind it is from a good and loving place. But we pray for you Discord people quite a bit. Like, we pray together, we pray solo for you guys. Like, we want you guys to have the absolute best life. The other night when we were doing the joint Patreon between Warriors Way Mindset and the To Be Better tribe, he was very worried about trying to invite people to come over to his Patreon. And I'm like, Rick, if somebody needs what you're doing, bro, like, I don't care if they leave us and go over there. It's not going to offend me.
Right.
The goal in all of this is that we all become the best possible versions of ourselves. And if somebody spends 6 months with us and it changes their entire fucking life and they're no longer growing with us,
Off to the next thing.
right, go fucking do you and send me an update in a month.
Yeah.
Send us a wedding invite. Right? Like, keep us in the fucking loop about how dope your life is. Your business is thriving. You've rekindled a relationship with your kids. Like, just keep us in the loop. It's not much to ask for. Emails are free.
Right.
So,
Okay.
you got it together?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm going to try. A reminder of how far we've come and how much we've grown. Stained glass windows are now in place, lining the halls of my home, reflecting vivid Oh, fuck me, hang on. I don't know what it is with stained glass, but it just gets me.
That's funny.
It's so
She
beautiful.
said you would need that before you.
Stained glass windows are now in every place, lining the halls of my home, reflecting vivid colors into every room, a reminder of my journey. What a roller coaster of a journey it has been. To me, it is what to be better. To me, it is what it means to be better. What the journey has been, and what it could be for anyone new who is watching. This community isn't always gentle. We won't patch glass when we know the walls are not salvageable. We won't allow you to live in a home where the walls are bound to shatter. We won't tell you you're doing great when we know you could do better. We will, however, give you the tools to create a better life. And we will join you episode after episode as you rebuild your foundation. I might need to take a break, guys. Why is it still just on me?
You want me to take it off of you for a minute?
Yeah, I need a break for a minute.
It's a lot to process this, right? We get emails of people who have their divorce papers in a fire pit.
Right.
We have been a catalyst for a lot of people to save their relationships and their marriages, and we're not anything special. We're not PhDs. We don't have any fucking letters behind our names. We are just people who have fucked up a lot in life, and we're able to pick up the pieces and rebuild. And, you know, obviously we read a lot because it's a common thing for you and I to share books. It's an intimate thing because we get to have really dope discussions about it. But we are literally doing nothing more than providing you the things that helped us in hopes that it works for you. I fucking love that you guys are getting so much benefit from us simply having conversations.
Our DoorDash is pulling up.
All right, well then you get the camera back as I go get your...
Okay.
I think that when you get to this point as a creator, and you hear we do what we do, right? And then you get an email like that, and suddenly
Thank you.
it's like proof that it all mattered, proof that it touched somebody.
Yeah, like it
and
was
when
all
it
worth
touches
it.
someone, that's it. That is it. I remember there's been. Thank you so much. It's blue. It's Hawaiian and volcanic. Cool. I remember being just about done. You know, I'm like, I'm so frustrated with this. I'm not doing anything. And I opened up my email and it was, hey, Meg, I just wanted to thank you because I left my abusive relationship and I had everything in place and I was ready to go and you gave me that strength. And I just went, okay, this is why I do this.
Yeah.
Because you don't know. But this is so beautiful. Are you good?
Yeah, I am centering myself. I'm going to continue reading it. It might come back, but I'm going to wait for him to come back in.
Okay. I don't think people realize what it means to us to have made that effect. Because
Right.
for me, especially, all I want is for people to know it can be so much better. You know, not to, steal the name or anything, but like it is all about how to be better in your whole life and how to live an amazing life. And so when somebody actually hears you and does it and you see them grow or they say, hey, I've taken this growth step, because of what you said. It's like,
It's so impactful.
We actually get to
It
see
is.
it though, right? Because we see more than just the words. We have people like Lorraine, who was in a really shitty spot, who got her own place and is thriving now.
Yeah. She's living life.
Yeah. And we get a lot of those updates too. We've gotten baby photos, we've gotten like wedding pictures. So we are on a journey with you guys, even though we don't see you the way you see us. We see you motherfuckers. Like we see the growth. It's dope. Did you finish it while I was gone?
No.
Okay, good.
Were you talking to the DoorDash driver?
No, Sean just dropped
Oh.
off some money.
Okay. I'm thankful to you all, this community of builders. All of you have seen the walls crash around you and have stood strong in your struggle to find yourselves again. Though we don't know each other, we all feel familiar, as we've all been hard at work rebuilding with the same tools, from the same source, after recognizing that maybe glass is better left as a window. How many more pages is this? Oh my gosh.
We got 30 minutes until the Patreon
I am.
live. Okay.
In a glass case of emotion right now.
Wait a minute. Let me say something.
Chris, I want to say thank you for having the strength to lift the walls of doubt that a lot of men have, for showing them that being a man means more than being strong all the time, that loving your woman passionately and giving all of you to her does not make you weak, but
No, it
rather
doesn't.
strengthens you.
It does. That is one of my biggest flexes in life. This bond is huge to me, right? And you are my priority above everything else. Like the business, the money, the home, none of that shit matters. Like I would be happy with you living in a garbage can if that made you happy. Like I'm good with that. As long as you're there and we're thriving together and like good, I'm golden. I'd have to clean the garbage can a little bit because I don't do smells, but
I think we would be able to like Zoidberg it and get a massive dumpster,
yeah.
have a master bedroom and a kitchen.
Yeah.
I'm not even putting my glasses back on. Thank you for allowing us the opportunity to watch and learn after years of struggling yourself to find faith and purpose. I know that judgment is out there and it batters your walls every day. I just hope that despite the noise, you can recognize the impact you're making in this world. Men are learning to love their women. Their children are seeing it unfold, and it's changing their future in a way that, oh, fuck. And it's changing their future in a way that will last for generations. Oh, this is so hard.
Emily said, I'm not crying, ... I swear.
You're such a good man.
I try.
I love you.
I love you too. Focus hotness.
I can't because the next paragraph's about me.
Uh-oh.
Peaches, from one woman to another, thank you. In a world that's been hardened to believe that we are equal to men, that being a boss bitch is our greatest achievement, listening to you has been like walking into calm water and being able to float. You've lifted the weight of the world and shown us women that it's okay to listen to our instincts, that being delicate and soft is beautiful and powerful. Thank you for being a voice for women. Oh, I'm fucking spitting my tears. Thank you for being a voice for women who feel ashamed to write stay-at-home mom on paperwork after years of being told that we aren't enough. You've reintroduced strength into what it means to be a safe haven for our men, a nurturer for our children, and a keeper of peace within the home. That's not it. I just need a second.
Well, while you're getting yourself together,
Okay.
we actually had my buddy Garrett today told me that he believes that we are the foundation for what traditional values will be in the future, because nobody is standing up for what traditional values were in the way that we are doing it.
Right.
Because people are making it convoluted, or they're turning it into a fashion trend.
Or a gimmick.
Right. And they're not actually doing it from a place of love and understanding. And he said that he believes that if traditional values hold, it's going to be because of our podcast. That's a lot.
Insane.
It's a lot to hear that. It really is. Like to hear somebody say that shit and to like, because that's obviously his view of it. Him and his wife follow us. Like they're actual part of our Patreon and shit. So
Right.
it's pretty crazy to think about that.
The way they've convoluted traditional male and female roles and what we give to each other and made it like it's sick. I was drawn to your podcast because I'm a very big traditional believer, and I believe that being a stay-at-home mom and being the soft place for your husband to land is a woman's purpose. If you are allowed to do that, if you are allowed financially to do that and everything else. And there's nothing wrong with asking for help. There's nothing wrong with needing a man. I did a little blip the other day about, I don't need a man. Men need to feel needed. It's really important for them. And they're the same women who are single and wondering why they can't find a good man.
Yep.
It's because you're not letting them be a man. And it doesn't make you weak to have feminine energy in any way.
No, it doesn't.
Okay. I have to breathe for her because I'm. God, this is very
I love
emotional.
that.
I do too.
All right, woman.
Okay, back into it.
I love when he calls you woman.
Oh, me too.
I'm sorry. I just had to say that.
I get so much hate for that.
He does.
No, I love it.
Thank you for taking the time and share. Shime. Thank you for taking the time to share everything you've learned. You're moving mountains and it's shifting the lives of families around the world. I'm proud to be a part of this journey with you both, even from a distance. You've impacted my life personally in ways I will never be able to fully explain, and I can't say thank you enough. I hope that made sense, and I hope it explains a little bit. This wasn't intended to be a story about me and my life, more so a thank you and explanation of why I'm here and why To Be Better feels like home. Oh, bitch, you fucking called us home.
It was the whisper for me.
It was.
That was good.
Okay. I would like to I can't. I would like to extend that thank you even further to our admins, moderators, and the Discord community. I probably don't say it often enough, so thank you. You all have a very special place in my heart, and I appreciate the hell out of all of you. How do I end this? Danny, how about some barbecue chicken egg rolls?
That's good.
That was
She really is
fantastic.
doing the can I egg roll everything.
I said that earlier, didn't I?
Yeah. She did a cheesecake, a strawberries cheesecake egg
She
roll.
did. The most recent one I saw was like a buffalo chicken dip, I think it was. I am so obsessed with your TikTok, Danish.
I need to follow that TikTok.
Yeah, she's doing everything. She did mashed potatoes, like loaded mashed potato egg rolls. Pizza rolls. Do pizza rolls.
Heather said that she actually referred to it as a homecoming in her letter too. Do you remember that?
I do remember that, yeah.
We so Meg, we did a meet and greet, an unofficial meet and greet, where we were going to we expected 1 or 2 people to show up, and it ended up being, I think, 10 people.
Wow. Yes, 10 people
And
came.
all the moderators flew, and people were flying down from Canada, and like we had a weekend with everyone. And like for me, I'm one of those people that are very weird around people. When I first meet them, I have to observe the room and see how things are going before I will start engaging people. And like we didn't have any of that weirdness. Everybody came in and everybody was friends, and it was like we knew each other, and there was laughter, and you took a nap.
I did. I took a nap.
It was
That's so great.
a very, very wild experience.
Yeah, it was
And
just
to hear,
instant comfort.
right, and to hear that they feel the same way about all that shit is so gangster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
Well, we have 20 minutes before we have to go live, and we normally like to take a break. Do you want to wrap this up?
Yeah,
Okay,
I
I have
need
to
a
read a
break.
couple more super chats real quick because there were more super chats.
Okay.
Darcinderin said that person was my older sister who withheld kids from us. Much more backstory, but that was the gist. So he's trying to make amends and be forgiven, or they are trying to be forgiven. That was that super chat. Ashley said for $25, which will get her access to Discord. Chris and Peaches, can't tell you how much I appreciate something from each podcast I listen to. You've helped me communicate with my fiance so much better. It made a huge difference as he'll be home from this year from prison. As somebody who has made that transition from inmate to civilian, I promise you need to be fucking patient. It is no different than a veteran coming home from war. There is going to be an acclimation period where he is going to have to reintegrate himself into society, especially if he was down for more than like 3 years.
Yeah, he's going to have to get out of that fight or flight mentality.
There's a whole lot of hyper vigilance that comes into being locked up, and when you get out, there's too much going on around you. You go from having a very structured routine, breakfast, lunch, and dinner is at the same time every day. Yard time is the same time.
You're around the same people every day.
Right, count. You have like a very structured thing, and when you have a whole lot of freedom and you don't have that routine anymore, it's very hard to find your place. Mm-hmm. So I highly suggest that you just be fucking patient with this man when he comes home.
He's going to be in limbo. He's not going to know what he wants.
Right.
Because he's been told what he needs to do for X amount of time.
Yep.
I have one coming out after 30 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So we're on the 13-month countdown before he gets out.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh,
but
man,
the same thing,
years.
when you read it, it's very, it lines up very well with veterans PTSD.
Yeah. So. 30 years. He missed.
It's a life sentence.
Apple, Microsoft.
Oh, our son is 33, and I was 4 months pregnant when he went in. So it's been a long time, and yes,
1990.
He's making. They're putting him through like a program where he's learning computers, and he's so funny because he's got one of those tablets, that they give you in prison, and he thinks it's awesome. And I'm like, you have no idea what my cell phone does. Really, it's just so overwhelming, and it's very sad. That's a whole podcast on its own, which I think I'm going to start another thing about people transitioning from prison out and what it looks like.
Do you follow JD, the guy that makes a lot of content about chomos in prison? He's got real covered in chest tattoos. He's kind of jacked, red beard, screams a lot.
No, but I will.
I'm actually friends with him. So in the event that you start moving into that content, you two should connect, because he did 3 years and is a recovered drug addict and is now making content about prison and beating up pedos.
That would be great, because there's a lot I've learned that I had no idea of, and I think it's really important for people to know what they have to deal with dealing with somebody who's coming out. And he's trying to learn what he's going to have to deal with. But yes, that is a huge everything changed.
Yeah, it's harder to get out than it is to go in. Especially when you've been, like I said, if you've been down for 3 years or longer, that transition home is very fucking difficult. Yep. Zach sent a super chat that said, "You guys are a lighthouse. You call us into safe harbor, given us a manual, and have created space for us to repair ourselves and better our lives."
That was from 3/15/2023.
Yep. It's been almost a year.
It's been almost a year.
It's wild. We have one more super chat that just came through for $1.99, but the message was retracted.
Oh.
So I'm going to wait to see if James pops up an actual message there, and if not, we're going to wrap this up. Give him a second to see if he's...
Okay.
Because I would hate to just take his $2 and leave. Got $2 for you, man. I got these cheeseburgers, man.
Cheese sounds so good right now.
Menace to society.
I love how absolutely candid as fuck you are. You're like, whatever comes into my head, I'm going to say it. And I love it, because I'm like trying to behave, but
No.
That's funny. Guys, what did you think about Meg being on the show? I would love to have her as a regular fixture here. I know that we've talked about having you on for podcasts on a regular basis.
Oh, that would be so awesome.
But if you'd be willing to drive down here once a month, we could do an episode and a live stream once a month.
That would be great.
I'd gladly pay for your gas.
I think your perspective is a really dope one to have.
Thank you.
I enjoy the disagreeing stuff.
Me too.
Yep, the back and forth is fun.
Yeah, it is. Because I know that you guys a lot of times are on the same page. And for me, I have gleaned so much from you guys. And what I learned from your podcast, I bring into mine when it comes to, I'm not a couple, I'm single, and I've been married twice. And my stuff is mostly about like self, right? But when it comes to relationships, I glean so much off of your podcast and how to deal with each other and how to and I'll be like, go see, Chris and Peaches. Go watch their podcast. It's so great on making your world work as a couple. And I think people forget that a lot. So where I'm not very strong in that area, you guys are like the perfect, balance to send people to when I need, when somebody comes to me and says I'm having an actual relationship thing. I can go through the self-love and the self this and that, but when it comes to, I'm like, go see them. Go see them.
Well, thank you for that.
So, no.
We really are a tool, aren't we? That's crazy.
Everyone loves having you on. They used to bring her back. I enjoyed it, loved it. 10 out of 10, absolutely love this. Yes, bring her back. That was amazing. Absolutely love her here. Love her. Thank you so much, Meg. Yes, I loved her. So yeah, you definitely are going to have to come back now. The people demand it.
Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate it.
The super chat from James said, how do I join? Somebody did the Patreon thing there, but if you would like to join, guys, if you did not send a $25 or more super chat tonight and you would like to join our Discord or Patreon, you go to patreon.com/tobebetter and join at the $15 tier. You'll get access to Discord and all of our other live streams and other content.
TikTok has also enjoyed you.
Oh, good. Oh, I'm so glad. Somebody asked, where can we follow Meg?
Yep.
I picked that up. Thank you for asking. No, it's Meg_talk on TikTok. I don't know if I've changed. I'm in the middle of a rebranding, so some of my stuff is on under Recover Your Power, which might still be my YouTube channel. It's not real big. Same on Instagram. Somehow it's all going to be Meg_talk. Instagram has the IG after it. I'll have to, right now the most sure way is TikTok.
Yeah. Our moderator, Zach the Wizard, posted your link in our chat. So
thank you so much.
It's there for everyone. Zach is always on top of shit.
Thanks, Zach.
Mm-hmm.
So, gotcha. All right, guys, we're going to wrap this up. We will be back in 15 minutes for our Patreon Live. For those of you who are on Patreon, we have a Zoom call. We'll be talking to a husband and wife. So thank you guys for tuning in, and we will see you on the next one.
Have a good night, guys.
Thank you so much.